I'm back with another one. I don't know, StreamYard is tripping and it's tripping me out that I have to use my phone, instead of my laptop. This is tripping me out. So hopefully won't nobody call. I think this is gonna be my last video. I know it is. Yeah, I think it is for today, but I had to at least drop as many as I could working these two jobs. But anyway, this is the book we read, The New World Order by Ralph Epperson, and we chapter 15, Illuminati. I probably need to get my glasses, but I'm not. The thought that there have been people actually planning the major events of the future in a harmful way has often been expressed by some of the world's leaders. One such individual was Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister of England during World War II. He wrote about what he had discovered when he made his views public in a London newspaper in 1920. From the days of Spartacus Weishaupt to those of Karl Marx, to those of Trotsky, Bella Khan, Rosa Luxemburg, and Emma Goldman, this worldwide conspiracy for the overthrow of civilization and for the reconstitution of society on basis of arrested development of envious malevolence, defined as being done with malice, spiteful, and impossible equality, has been steadily growing. It played a definite, recognizable role in the tragedy of the French Revolution. That is a fact. It has been the mainspring of every subversive movement during the 19th century. And now, at last, this band of extraordinary personalities from the underground of the great cities of Europe and America have gripped the Russian people by the hair of their heads and have become practically the undisputed masters of that enormous empire. Spartacus was the code name of Adam Weishaupt, the founder of the Illuminati, which is a fact because he founded the Illuminati in America in 1776. And if you look at your dollar bill under the pyramid, they tell you that that stands for July 4th, 1770, the day of independence from Britain. But Adam Weishaupt started the Illuminati in America May 1st. 1776. And that's what that really says on there. Spartacus was a code name that Adam Weishaupt, the founder of the Illuminati, used inside the organization. Karl Marx was, of course, the so-called father of communism. Facts. Trotsky was Leon Trotsky. I just explained the founder of the Illuminati, Adam Weishaupt, 1776 in America. And this is what this chapter is on. So if you love history, you'll love this. And if you don't like history, you might find it kind of boring. But this is the true Illuminati. It ain't the religion. It's the 13th family, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, ISO Spice, okay. The DuPonts, the Vanderbilts, the old wealthy. That's who the Illuminati. Everything else, they use music because they worship the Luciferian doctrine. Lucifer was the worship leader in heaven, so you know what I'm saying? So they use music for mass hypnosis of the people. And that's what, no diddy. And most of the people in the music industry, they not part of the Illuminati. They are Freemasons. And that's what it is. They take the Masonic oath, which is a subset of the Illuminati. So this is what this is. I'm going to do Diddy. But this might find it boring. But if you want to know the origins of what the Illuminati really is, then you'll be intrigued. So, and this is history as well. So Leon Trotsky, one of the major leaders in the Communist Revolution in Russia in 1917, and Bela Khan, Rosa Luxemburg, and Ella Goldman were revolutionaries. The French Revolution was in 1789, and many historians have concluded that the Illuminati formated it with the goal of putting their fellow members of the Illuminati, the Duke d'Orleans, on the throne of France. And that's true, and that's what they do. There's a book called The Economic Hitman, how they send the World Bank, which is another owned by the Rothschilds. They send bankers out to countries who are in debt, who are impoverished, who are poor, and they loan their money, and then they take control of their economy. Why you think the United States is $36 trillion in debt? United States is broke. Anybody with that kind of debt is not rich at all. And then they take control of the monetary supply. And this is what they did. Their first test was the French Revolution. That's what it's about. Yeah, I can cook some good greens. Mix. So, now, Mr. Churchill linked West Hap and the Illuminati of 1776 with the communist Karl Marx of 1848. One and the same. They paid Karl Marx to write the Communist Manifesto. And Marx with the Russian communists of 1970. It was his opinion that these individuals had been linked together in a conspiracy lasting for more than 140 years. He then combined that conspiracy with European and American revolutionaries. And dig this. If you think about the Constitution, most of the people who wrote the Constitution were Freemasons. George Washington, the first, had on a Masonic robe. The Illuminati been in government since its inception. And that's a fact. Okay, let me view this message. Well, yeah, that's true. I probably don't want to talk about it because that ain't the subject about what I've done. We talking about the Illuminati. Okay. Let me see. Okay. He then combined this conspiracy with European and American revolutionaries, and his final comment was there was combined purpose was to overthrow civilization, which is where we at now. We're at that now, the overthrowing of civilization, and that's where America is. And you had a choice between good and evil in this election, whether you saw it as that spiritual. It really was. It really was. Everything is spiritual. In other words, Mr. Churchill claimed that their purpose was to bring in a new world order. It's only two things standing in the way of the new world order. It's the patriots of America and Iran. Once those two things fall, that the new world order is here. The one world dictatorship, one world currency, one world religion, which would be the revived Roman Empire. And I'm just saying, because you got the Jesuit Pope in there. Oh, okay. All right. Willow Pillow. But yeah, so we so close. We are so close. I thought I'd be dead before. I've been studying this stuff since I was 17 for almost 40 years. And y'all, we so close. It's scary we that close. It's only two things. The Patriots and Iran. Once that go, bye-bye, America. Well, she done anyway. America done anyway. Okay, getting back to this. He had provided the reader with a brief overview of a long-lasting conspiracy. He had told the world that this conspiracy wanted to overthrow civilization. But because few knew anything at all about this conspiracy, the world paid no attention to Mr. Churchill's comments. And that's true because John F. Kennedy, he tried to warn the people as well. He said there's a shadow government, something that's so powerful that it was a time you couldn't even say the name Illuminati. That's what my channel said. None dare call it conspiracy, N-U-N. But there's a book, none dare call it conspiracy, N-O-N-E, written in the 1800s that I got the name from this. You couldn't even say the name Illuminati. You would be unalive if you even said the name. But now it's so commonplace where people don't know who the real people are who run this. I'll tell you a story. Remember when Rihanna, before her makeup and perfume line came out, she flew to England and she met with an old white guy. He's up under the Rothschilds. I can't think. Lord Jacob, I think. She met with him to get his blessing on her line. That's the Illuminati. She went to him for his blessing. And her makeup line and all that perfume has been successful. I was blown away. I said, wow, you can't make this up. Okay, getting back to the book. This is one of my favorite books, The New World Order. But because few knew anything about, okay, that was no accident because the conspiracy has in the main acted under cover of concealment. They do not announce their plans before they occur. They certainly do not announce their involvement after the planned event has occurred. Professor Adam Weishaupt boastfully stated that his organization would remain concealed from the eyes of the public. He wrote, "The great strength of our order lies in its concealment. Let it never appear in any place in its own name." He would be pissed that people was talking about the Illuminati right now, even though they got it wrong, most people. But always covered by another name and another occupation. He even told the world in his writings where how he would conceal the order. None is fitter than the three lower degrees of Freemasonry. The public is accustomed to it, expects little from it, and therefore takes little notice of it. Illuminati, Freemasonry. So the music artists are inducted in Freemasonry. He felt that this secrecy would lead him to success because he felt no one would be able to break into it. He wrote, "Our secret association works in a way that nothing can withstand." Another reason he felt that the Illuminati would succeed was the fact that he was offering its members worldwide power. He felt that this inducement would enable him to draw into his organization only those who would do anything to satisfy the desire for power, he wrote. The true purpose of the order was to rule the world. To achieve this, it was necessary for the order to destroy all religions, overthrow all governments, and abolish private property. Boom. The Bolivian government discovered the existence of the secret conspiracy and investigated the order in 1786. They issued a report in which they concluded the express aim of this order was to abolish Christianity, overthrow all civil government. We watching this in real time. That's why Trump is so hated. He's not controllable. As mentioned previously, Westhout founded the Illuminati on May 1st, 1776, which I just told you. And the selection of that date as the founding date of the order appears to be no coincidence. Apple Pike wrote May 1st was a festival day. It's Valentine's Day. May 1st is Valentine's Day. That's a demonic god that they celebrate. And that's when the Illuminati started, May 1st, 1770, that I explained earlier in this. The festival was in honor of the sun. The reason that Westhout chose the 1st of May to found his secret anti-Christian religion has not been satisfactorily explained. However, there are some interesting clues as to why he chose that day. I told you it's Valentine's Day. One possible explanation involves the Roman Emperor Diocletian, who reigned from 284 to 305 AD. After the death of Jesus, the Christian world continued to be persecuted by a string of violent seizures of the Roman Empire, but the violence inaugurated by Diocletian surpassed them all in violence. An edict requiring uniformity of worship was issued to 303 AD, and the Christians resisted by refusing to pay homage to the image of the emperor. Diocletian met that resistance with specific retaliation against the Christians. They lost their public and private possessions, and their assemblies were prohibited. The churches were burned down, and their sacred writings were destroyed. In addition, many Christians paid for their resistance with their lives. It had been estimated that the victims numbered into the hundreds of thousands. Finally, Diocletian grew ill and abdicated on May 1st, 305 AD. The persecution persisted but never again approached that of which Diocletian did. Is it possible that perhaps Professor Westhout learned about the date of his abdication and picked up the mantle laid down by Diocletian and started the persecution of Christians again some 1400 years later? That is possible, but that's Beltane Day, Belton. The goal of the Illuminati was man made perfect as a god without God. But it was a strange idea because Westhout permitted his followers to utilize any activity to achieve this goal, including lying, he wrote. One must speak sometimes one way and sometimes another, so that with respect to our true line of thinking, we may be impenetrable. The members did tell the truth when they took the initiation ceremony. However, they took an oath which read in part, I bind myself to perpetual silence and unshaken loyalty and submission to the order. Because if they said let any of their secrets out, dang, they were unalive, and that's a fact. Westhout claimed that he was shocked when his order turned into a religion, but this is what he said. I never thought I should become the founder of a new religion, but his religion had a different base than the traditional religion. His base was on worship of reason. Then will reason rule with unperceived away. Reason would be the only code of man. This is the one of our greatest secrets. When at last reason becomes the religion of man, then will the problem be solved. West's dedication of his organization to reason makes some sense when the reader recalls that reason has been defined as the unbridled use of man's mind to solve man's problems without the involvement of God. Wow, that's deep. That's deep. That's deep. The Bible calls this the first fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It was this knowledge that God wanted man not to have, and it was the promise made to man by Lucifer that man could have it by eating of its fruit. In addition, West Hat's religion offered its believers a reward not offered by any other religion: worldwide power. West Hat wrote, the people, the pupils, members of the Illuminati are convinced that the order will rule the world. Every member therefore becomes a ruler. West Hat religion not only offered power to his believers, but he offered them something else not guaranteed by any other religion: worldly success. He said that once a candidate had achieved the exalted degree of illumination, minor, the fourth of the 13 inside his order, his superiors would assist him in bringing his talents into action and place him in situations most favorable for their exertion so that he may be assured of his success. One of these areas where the Illuminati would strive to place their members was inside government. Now you can see how the Democrats were a party of the people, and look at it now, they are a party of elitists. And the Republican Party then went back to the origin of which it was started, that our ancestors were Republican because they were the abolitionaries. They abolished slavery. They did all that. All our ancestors were Republican. And it's reverting back to the way things were. It's tripping me out. Okay. Inside government. There we go. We must do our utmost to procure the advancements of the Illuminati into all important civil offices. West Hat's religion also had a rather unusual view of man's nature. Traditional religion teaches all mankind that man is basically a sinner and that his way out is to change his bad habits. West Hat felt that this position was in error. He wrote, "Man is not bad except as he is made so by arbitrarily morality. He is bad because religion, the state, and bad examples pervert him. Man suffered themselves to be oppressed, gave themselves up to civil societies, and formed states. To get out of this state, there is no other means than the use of reason." Wow, that is deep. "This can be done in no other way but by secret associations, which will by degrees and in silence possess themselves of the government of the states and make use of those means for this purpose which the wicked use for attaining their base ends." Professor Westhout religion authorizes members to use any means that would benefit the goal of the Illuminati. The goal was simple: the destruction of all Christianity. And that's what we're watching today. Ooh, we're seeing it in real time. Behold our secret. It is in order to destroy all Christianity, all religion. We have pretended to have the sole true religion. Remember that the end justifies the means, and that the wise ought to take all the means to do good, which the wicked take to do evil. West have spoke about the Jesuits, the order of the priests inside the Catholic Church. That's why the Pope that you have now is a Jesuit. They are Satanists. Adam Westhoudt was a Jesuit, and he was the first Pope that we have, that the Catholic Church has now, that was a Jesuit. I said, wow. They don't believe in God. No, they don't. He was, it will be remembered, an instructor at the Catholic University in Bavaria. Now, this Adam Weishaupt, the founder of Illuminati, he a professor at the Catholic Church is the Church of Satan. Facts. They have a room that's shaped in a snake at the Vatican right now. Bavaria is run by the Jesuits. He apparently admired their success because he organized his order in a similar way. He wrote, "What these men have done for altars and empires, why should I do against altars and empires? By the attraction of mysteries, of legends, of adepts, why should I destroy in the dark what they erect in the light of day?" The writers in the past have summarized the belief of the Illuminati for the future use of historians. One was Nestor Webster, who wrote the following about their aims in the book entitled World Revolution. Number one, to abolish the monarchy and all ordered government, abolish private property, and that's Agenda 2030 that is coming in the United States. Agenda 2030 is that you will own nothing and be happy. Yes, they coming to take your house. You will own nothing and be happy. So that's a tenet from the Illuminati from 1776, but we watching this in real time now. Abolish patriotism. Did not tell you. Two things standing in the New World Order is the Patriots and Iran. Now, to destroy patriots. Abolish the family. Abolish the family. Puberty blockers. Transgenderism. Drag queen story time. A homosexual agenda. That's how you abolish the family. Marriage and all morality, and the institution of the commercial education of children. Okay. We seeing this. We seeing this right now. Abolish all religion. Because it will be a one world religion. One world currency. One world dictatorship. Coming soon. By this plan we shall direct all mankind in this manner. Oh, you know what? I skipped a thing. Let me go back. Weishaupt must have felt that his plan would ultimately succeed. He certainly felt that his order would control the world, and he anticipated that there would be opposition to his goals. He summarized all of these thoughts in this statement. By this plan, we shall direct all mankind in this manner, and by the simplest means, we shall set all in motion and in flames. The occupations must be so allotted and contrived that we may in secret influence all political transactions. That's your government within the government, the shadow government that run everything. That's the Illuminati. Not music and celebrities. They are Freemasons. They don't even have enough money to become in the Illuminati. Weishaupt decided that his Illuminati needed a cover, and he successfully infiltrated the Masonic order in 1782. Did I just say Freemasonry? At the Masonic Congress at Williamsbad, some Masons became aware of the infiltration and were moved to comment about it. One such Mason was George Washington. I just told you because he wore the Mason, he was 33rd degree. Most who was sent a copy of Professor John Robeson's book entitled Proof of a Conspiracy, and I got that book by a Christian minister named G.W. Snyder. The president responded to the minister's request that he read the book, and his letter to the minister has been preserved for posterity. Mr. Washington wrote the minister, this George Washington, it was not my intention to doubt that the doctrines of the Illuminati and principles of Jacobianism had not spread in the United States. On the contrary, no one is more fully satisfied of this fact than I am. The idea that I meant to convey was that I did not believe the lodges of Freemasons in this country had, as societies endeavored to propagate the diabolical, defined as being the devil tenets of the Illuminati, that individuals of them may have done it, or that the founder may have had some objects. In actuality, in my view, had a separation of people from their government is too evident to be questioned. I believe that none of the lodges in this country are contaminated with the principles ascribed to the Society of the Illuminati. He knew. He knew. The president indicated that he was aware that the Illuminati had arrived in America, that its tenets were diabolical, meaning that he recognized they involved themselves in devil worship. They do worship the Luciferian doctrine, and that they intended to separate man from his government. The president of the United States had acknowledged that the presence of the devil worshiping Illuminati in America. The book that the president read was written by a member of the lodge who had been asked to join the Illuminati. He was a professor of natural philosophy at Edinburgh University in Scotland. After his study, he concluded that the purposes of the Illuminati were completely unacceptable, and he wrote his book to express his goals. He wrote, an association has been formed for the express purpose of rooting out all religious establishment and overturning all the existing governments of Europe. He discovered that their leaders would rule the world with uncontrollable power that they got now. Now, this in the 1700s, while all the rest will be employed to be mere tools of ambition of their unknown superiors. James Watt, the inventor of the steam engine, was a contemporary, was a friend of Professor Robinson, and he wrote this about his friend. A man of the clearest head and the most science of anybody I have ever known. But even with all those criticisms about the purpose of the Illuminati, there were some Masons who felt that the associations between the Masons and the Illuminati was positive federation. One such Mason was Kenneth Mackenzie. He wrote, an attempt to purify Masonry, then is much confusion. Another Mason approved of the merger was Dr. Walter Fleming, one of the forefinders of the Shrine. Ooh, the Shrine. My grandma had a boyfriend who was a Shriner. Wow, of a Shrine, an organization that is part of the Masonic fraternity. He and three other Masons formed this organization in 1871. 1871 is when the second Constitution was written, which made the United States a corporation. Facts. And he assisted in the preparation of a history of the Shrine in 1893. In his book, he wrote, among the modern promoters of the principles of the order, the Shrine in Europe, one of the most notable was Herr Adam Weishaupt, professor of law in the University in Bavaria, who revived the order in the city on May 1st, 1776. Its members exercised a profound influence before and during the French Revolution, when they were known as the Illuminati. Mm, mm, mm. Dr. Fleming, a 33rd degree Mason, was recognizing the founder of the Illuminati as a revive of the order. His quote comes from a book entitled Parade of Glory, written by Fred Van Deventer, who appears to be given to each new member of the shrine. All this shit getting good. So Dr. Fleming was supporter of the efforts of Professor Adam Weishaupt because he had revived the order. Albert Mackey also praised Professor Weishaupt. In his book Encyclopedia of Freemasonry, Weishaupt could not have been the monster that he had been painted by his adversaries. And the reason he couldn't have been a monster was because he was a Masonic reformer. However, the major support that Weishaupt had received had come from members of the Masonic order who have attacked those who have been critical of the professor and the Illuminati he was founder of. Albert Mackey, for instance, admitted that John Robertson was a fellow Mason, but he wrote these comments about his belief that a conspiracy had infiltrated the Illuminati. Many of his statements are untrue and his argument illogical. His theory is based on false premises and his reasoning is illogical. Kenneth McKenzie, who wrote the Royal Masonic Encyclopedia, said about Professor Robertson, the author of the silly, self-contradictory book about Freemasonry, the nauseating nonsense which Robertson decks his book is only to be compared to the more subtle sarcasm of Beryl. The individual called Beryl by Dr. McKenzie was in fact A. Beryl, who had written a 4-volume series on the Illuminati in 1768. What's the name of his book? Oh, this is what he wrote about the Illuminati. It's a terrible, horrible sect. It was formed for that general revolution, which is to overthrow all thrones, all altars, annihilate all property, destroy the right to private property, obliterate all law. This is where we at now. We going into anarchy. And at the end, dissolving all society. It's coming. We so close. Another who attacked A's volumes on the Illuminati was Thomas Jefferson. Jefferson wrote, Beryl's own parts of the book are perfectly the ravings of a lunatic. Weishaupt seems to be enthusiastic philanthropist. Weishaupt believes that to promote the persecution of human character was the object of Jesus Christ. His precepts are the love of God and the love of neighbor. He is a Satan worshiper. How you get that, I don't know. Albert Mackey said the origin design of Illuminism was undoubtedly the elevation of the human race. Mackey wrote, he is celebrated in the history of Masonry as the founder of the Order of the Illuminati of Bavaria. Other Masonic, they praise Adam Weishaupt. The fact is, the Illuminati came to America. Several researchers into the conspiracy of the Illuminati have provided that the student with their evidence that these conspirators have brought their plans to the United States. Nestor Wesser wrote in the 1920s, while these events were occurring, the revolution of 1789 were taking place in Europe. The New World, meaning America, had been Illuminized. As early as 1786, a lodge of the Order of the Illuminati had been started in Virginia, and this was followed by 14 others in different cities. Now, the father of Samuel Morse, who invented the Morse code and the inventor of the telegraph, he said the Order of the Illuminati has its branches established and its works in America. In 1812, the president of Harvard University, Joseph Willard, he said, there is sufficient evidence that the number of societies of the Illuminati have been established in this land. They were doubtless striving to secretly undermine ancient institutions, civil and sacred. These societies are clearly leagued with those of the same order in Europe. We live in an alarming period. The enemies of all orders are seeking our ruin. Should infidelities generally prevail, our independence will fall, of course. Our Republican government will be annihilated. And that's what they're doing right now. Perhaps the next appearance of the Illuminati occurred in Chicago, Illinois in 1886 when the so-called Haymarket riot is uncertain as to whether or not they were formally involved as an organization, but the whole affair certainly seems to have occurred in a sequence similar to what they would have orchestrated if they had been involved. Cypress McCormick, the owner of a harvester works in Chicago, had refused to accept a union to represent his employees. When he was pressed by the union, he closed his factory and opened it later with non-union workers. The strikers and the non-union workers clashed, and a squad of police arrived. A bomb was thrown, from out of the crowd, and it killed one and wounded many others. Shootings broke out, and 68 policemen were wounded and 7 of them killed. After the Haymarket affair, a captain in the Chicago Police Department, Michael Schacht, decided that he would see if he could determine why the disaster had occurred, and he stated after a thorough investigation, he issued this report. All over the world, the apostles of disorder and anarchy are today pressing their work out of ruin, preaching their gospel of disasters to all nations, and with a more fiery energy and better organized propaganda than was ever known before. They start everything. They make chaos. They create all the chaos and then come to the solution. People who imagine that the energy of the revolution has slackened or that their determination to wreck all existing systems has grown less bitter are deceiving themselves. The conspiracy against society is as determined as it ever was. Nothing but the uprooting of the very foundations and groundwork of our civilization will satisfy these enemies of order. Although Captain Schacht did not specify the group as Illuminati, he clearly had discovered the conspirators were trying to uproot civilization, which had been their announced goal for over 100 years. It appears that his research had come to the fact that the Illuminati had been at work in America. 1886 was a big year for those uncovering the evidence that this conspiracy existed. 2 other individuals spoke out against it, and that was Henry Manning, Archbishop of Westminster, England, who wrote The Work of Secret Political Societies, which from 1789 to this day have been perfecting their formation. He said that this conspiracy is now a power in the midst of Christian and civilized world, pledged to the destruction of Christianity in the old civilization of Europe. The other was A. Lane, a respected scholar of this time. He wrote, to disorganize at one blow Christian society and the beliefs and customs of the Jews, then bring about a state of things where, religiously speaking, there will be neither Christian nor Jew. So there were plenty of warnings, but overall, few in the world listened, and the secret societies continue to prosper. Where we at today? Who's standing in the way? Now, based on that, you can see why Trump is so hated. We so close, y'all. We so close. I hope y'all wake up and understand what the real, because it's here. It's been here. And they evil. And we, the people, are the useless eaters. We are the slaves. And so many gonna perish. Because it's here. All right, good night, y'all. Like, share, subscribe, share the video. I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna be doing a whole lot of things, but this is what I know. I eat, live this stuff. I watch everything. All right, y'all. Good night.